right, Uncle
Now,
Ben.
wait a minute, Peter. We need to talk anymore. You shirk your chores. You have all those weird experiments in your room. You start fights at school.
I didn't start that fight. I told you that.
Well, you sure as hell finished.
What was I supposed to do? Run away?
No, you're not supposed to run away. But Pete, look, you're changing. I know. I went through exactly the same thing at your age.
No, not exactly.
Peter, these are the years when a man changes into the man he's going to become the rest of his life. Just be careful who you change into. This guy Flash Thompson, he probably deserved what happened. But just because you can be doesn't give you the right to. Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
Peter! Peter!
Peter!
Peter!
Assemble. I am inevitable. And I am Iron Man.
So, you're the one they call Necron?
Wow, you sure are perceptive. What gave my identity away?
This conversation is over, Issa. Stop this evil now.
Don't make me hasten your death.
God has given me the power to defeat you.
Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of Musical Discussions. That's right, folks. We aren't reviewing The Incredible Hulk today. We are going to be reviewing Wicked. Time to bring on my co-host, Sucks Bulletins, right now. I'm excited to discuss this musical with him. Please welcome Sucks Bulletins. Welcome him on the show. How are you doing, Socks Bulletins?
You need help, sir. You need a lot of help.
By the way, guys, don't worry. We are going to be reviewing the Incredible Hulk. So, hello, and welcome to another episode of Marvelous Discussions. How are you feeling, Socks?
I was doing just fine until you started singing again. God, you're going to kill me with that.
Hey, if they can introduce Batman in a musical, we can do a musical show.
Think about that for a second. They introduced Batman in an animated form during the middle of a musical. Good idea, James Gunn. Good idea.
Hey, I like Josh's comment here. Come on, Sox. It's time to defy gravity.
Yeah.
What up, Zodwriter? So, before we get started on today's show, I just have a very important announcement. Yes, as of today, this channel has finally reached 500 subscribers. And I want to thank all of you, because it's all of you who helped me get to this point. It's people like you, Sox, who come on and do these shows with me that help me get to this point. And I still need some more hours before I'm officially monetized. I need some more watch hours. So keep watching, people. Keep watching. We're almost there. And I will do a special 500 subscribers and celebration stream when we get to 550. I always like I do with 300 subscribers. I wait till I get to the 50 mark afterwards to give a little cushion. Because, I'm saying this right now, but someone could unsubscribe and tomorrow I could be back at $4.99. So I like to wait till we get to 550 to give a little cushion. So once we get to 550, you can expect something. So thank you, Sin Havoc. That it did. Thank you, Zodwriter.
Yeah,
And
Bishop.
what up, Bishop? Thanks for stopping by. So, before we get on to the review, if you may have noticed, I started this show with a One Punch Stand teaser, showing the One Punch Stand teaser. For those of you who saw my Superman is Beautiful at Christmas review or stream with Josh Herrera, I meant to play the teaser again before ending, and then I found out afterwards I just shared the YouTube live of that particular stream instead. So I wanted to kind of make that up by starting it at the beginning, the way I planned to end that last live stream. So we're going to actually show it. We're going to show it one more time. So we're going.
So, you're the one they call Necron?
Wow, you sure are perceptive. What gave my identity away?
This conversation is over, Issa. Stop this evil now.
Don't make me hasten your death.
God has given me the power to defeat you.
And Josh Herrera, if you're in the chat, I owe you an apology. On Lethal Geeks, I said Sin Havoc coined the phrase, and I know it was Josh Herrera who coined it, and Sin Havoc did the hashtag. But it was a collaboration between me, Zodwriter, Josh Herrera, and Sin Havoc. So that's all that matters. I did want to correct that, though. So, but since I have you on, how are you feeling after seeing that teaser?
Zodwriter has put in a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of dedication. My hat goes off to Zod. I mean, he's taken the ball and he ran with it. And I gotta give Zod all the credit in the world, man. He's found a way to unite us all and keep us together after what the late great Mikey Sun did for us. And this is paying tribute back to Mikey. So I gotta give Zod his respect, man. More power to you, Zod. I would never been able to figure anything like this out, but when this movie comes out, I'm telling you right now, I'm definitely watching it day one.
Same here. And remember, this movie is a tribute to Mikey Sutton and Papa Gunny Poo, also known as James Gunn's dad. And yes, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, because this is the first show on this channel for 2025.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
MV4E. Exactly, Bishop. MV4E. So, Sox, you ready to get started?
Hey, it's a Marvel film. I'm always ready to get started. It's a good Marvel film like that, too. Let's do this.
Exact. Yes. So, as we all know, Captain America: Brave New World comes out next month. So, yes, obviously the Captain America movies and Falcon and Winter Soldier. But this movie's going to have Thaddeus Ross, Betty Ross, and I don't know if there's anyone else from that cast, but there's going to be a big Hulk supporting cast in this movie. So it only felt right to review The Incredible Hulk 2008, the one with Edward Norton. So we have a lot to talk about with this movie. And, you know, I've said this, I told Sox this backstage. I really love Phase 1 MCU. To me, that is the best phase of the MCU before Disney got a hold of it. The only two movies, in my opinion, that hold up to Phase 1 of the MCU are Winter Soldier and Infinity War. And, you know, actually, we're going to say Far From Home, too. I'm going to add that one. I know, Sox, I mentioned those other two backstage, but I'm going to add Far From Home. Because we got to see the other Spider-Man again. Oh, that's really good to know, guys. Check out Qatar. If you have the link to that particular stream, Qatar, let me know, and I'll add it. If not, I'll just put your channel. So, anyway, guys, let's get started. So before we get into the characters, I wanted to talk about the story a little bit. Sox, what's your thoughts on the story?
It pretty much felt like a real sound story from what I remember, and I just watched this movie again maybe about 2 weeks ago. I've seen this movie so many times, I love it that much. I love how they were able to, you know, get past the origin right away and go right into what was going on. You didn't have to rehash the origin again. And if you know the original Hulk TV series from the late 1970s, Edward Norton was able to use that and bring it into the movie, where he was going through the same procedure. And I enjoyed that. It was a nice movie. I'm sorry?
I thought I heard that theme. I was like, is that the theme from the TV series?
Yes. And also, later on in the movie, there's a moment where Edward Norton's Bruce Banner is watching TV. And he's flipping through the channels, and he sees the guy that plays Bill Bixby that played the Hulk in another show called I can't think of the name of the TV series he did before he did The Incredible Hulk. It was back in the late 1960s, and he did, and you just see like an Easter egg of Bill Bixby doing a different show at one point. That was paying a tribute to Bill Bixby because they couldn't use the actual Hulk from the 70s, so they had to go to a different show that he actually did. But it was actually really good.
And I like the story as well. And again, thank you, Sox. I love all the bombs you drop, the Marvel knowledge. It's what I've said before. I could not do this Marvel show without Sox, because I'm a DC guy. I don't have the Marvel knowledge, so Sox is here to give the Marvel knowledge. And I really, again, I always appreciate everything you drop for this channel, for this show. And overall, I like the story too. I like how they do cover the origin a little bit in the opening credit sequence. Because I do think you need to put a little something in there, because you need to show, because like, in my opinion, you need to have it make sense for someone who's never seen The Incredible Hulk before. Like, you have to make it make sense if this is the first time someone's introduced to The Incredible Hulk. And I think this movie did a good job doing that without going too overboard for the people who do know the origin. Because I think pre-MCU, the Hulk was one of the more known heroes. I think before the MCU came out, the Hulk was definitely more known. And he's a great, it was a great story. I love the story. I love the basic premise that Bruce Banner's trying to live his normal life, or not normal life. He's just trying to live a life, trying to survive, trying to make it that other people don't get hurt because of the inner beast in him. And I think it's a really simple yet strong story at the same time. And I really love it. You have, and then the U.S. Army being the U.S. Army. It's like, this guy is property. This guy is a weapon. We need him. We can use him. And I really love seeing that. And overall, it's a great story. But I think what really helps the story, honestly, is the atmosphere. Is that I love the dark atmosphere. A big reason why I love pre-Disney MCU Phase 1 is I do feel like you get a lot more of the darker atmosphere. And I think it's really important for the Hulk's character. Because I always say, not every movie needs to be dark and serious. Not every movie needs to be a joke. It should fit the story of the character. And to me, the Hulk is someone where I feel like it fits the story better if you have that darker atmosphere. But I feel like you see the run. You see Bruce Banner trying his very hardest not to lose it. Because it's easy. Like, we're human, right? We've lost our tempers before. We've lost it. I mean, I'm going to be honest. If I was Bruce Banner, just working in customer service, I may lose my temper. I would be turning into the Hulk at least 3 times a week. And I feel like it really shows that the stakes and and that's why the atmosphere is really important. I guess, Sox, what are your thoughts on the atmosphere?
I believe personally, because I've been reading Hulk for years, Hulk is a tragic character. Bruce Banner is already a tragic character. I mean, he grew up with a very abusive father. His father beat on him, beat his mother, killed his mother in the comics. And then he becomes this, a lot of ways, Bruce Banner's a bigger nerd than even Peter Parker. And Peter Parker's already a nerd. Nothing against nerds, but he is. When Bruce Banner becomes the Hulk, Stan Lee, how much I praise and respect Stan Lee for what he did for comics in general, which he did do a lot. Stan Lee based Bruce Banner and the Hulk off Dr. Frankenstein and Dr. Frankenstein's monster and Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. That's basically the Hulk. It's based off those two characters, those individual characters. So he wanted his tragic character. And Bruce Banner is a tragic character. He's a flawed character. That's why I always say when Stan Lee started writing for Marvel, he made his characters to be more flawed. You can't relate to a billionaire. You can't relate to a guy that can fly around and become invulnerable. But you can relate to a Peter Parker. You can relate to a Bruce Banner. You can relate to a Victor Von Doom on a certain level. You can relate to Steve Rogers because he wanted him to be flawed. You can relate to that. You can understand that character. DC picked up on that in the 70s, and you're like, wow, we need to really change our formula here and start making our characters flawed. I personally think that's the way to go. But I'm getting off on a tangent here, so I apologize. But Stan Lee, to me, changed comics forever, and I've yet to see anybody come along down the line that actually do as much as Stan Lee did with so many characters.
And I can agree with that. And hey, Zack Snyder, in some ways, you could say, took inspiration. That's the word I'm looking for, from Stan Lee by making his versions of the characters flawed. So, yeah, I mean, you're right, and even though I'm more of a DC guy, I have great respect for what Stan Lee has done. Because I always say the competition, for one, only helps everyone. Competition helps improve all around. So I'm very thankful for what Stan Lee did. And Sox, I do have to say something. You know how you said that the Hulk's influenced by Jekyll and Hyde?
Yeah.
I learned that in band rehearsal, Jekyll and Hyde is a musical. No joke, it's true. It's Jekyll and Hyde is a musical.
God help me.
That's just
my left nut is a musical. I'm not playing. My left nut is a musical, but I'm not playing it right now. Okay, so thank you.
Yeah, exactly. We love your tangents and uncensored socks. So now let's get into some of the characters. Thaddeus Ross, and I'm going to be honest, Socks, he's a lot more of a scumbag than I recalled him, because I thought in the comics, because I know the Incredible Hulk series, it felt like his concern was more of a danger to the people, which feels a lot more noble. This Thaddeus Ross was more about turning Bruce Banner into a weapon to make him just so he could be an asset to the U.S. Army. I guess, Socks, maybe clarify that one a little bit for me.
General Ross is a proud soldier, but he's overbearing. He's over egotistical. He believes that in his way of thinking, like he said in the movie, everything about that person we own. So we need to do what we need to do, and that's just how it is, and deal with it. That's not how that is. I'm sorry, that doesn't work that way. But in his mind, he feels that Banner was their weapon that they made, they control. That's it. And it'll come back and bite him in his ass later on down the line, which it has done several times over and over again, especially in the comics.
Yeah, and especially in the MCU when he.
You know what? I
becomes the Hulk
realized something.
himself.
Well, think about it like this. You know, I just came up with an analogy just now. Just right now, I came up with an analogy. Thaddeus Ross, General Ross, is basically Ahab. Ahab is searching to get his whale. Now, if you ever read Moby Dick, which is a great novel, by the way, when Ahab went after Moby Dick the first time, it cost him his leg. He couldn't let it go. So he spent years on the open sea going after Moby Dick again, even though knowing it cost him his leg the first time. When he later on catches up to Moby Dick again, Moby Dick not only took his ship, his crew, and then took his life. It's a story about revenge and obsession. That's what Ross is. Obsession and revenge. Unfortunately, Hulk is Moby Dick in this story, and Thaddeus Ross has gotten his ass kicked several times over and over again. Read that book, by the way, Moby Dick.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I've never read that book. I know Sin Havoc, homework assignment. But, you know, that's
Great
a really
book.
good point.
Great story.
And I think that William Hurt, that's his name, right?
Thank
William
you.
Hurt.
Right, but thank you, Qatar. I couldn't think of the name. That's it. That was the courtship of Betty's father. That was the scene in the movie The Incredible Hulk where Edward Norton died.
Okay, interesting. Thank you, Qatar. Thank you. But yeah, I think William Hurt does a really good job portraying the general who just his eye is on the prize, and the way that he forgets his own daughter. He doesn't always care about his own daughter's well-being. I mean, at certain points he does seem to, but there are certain points where honestly, when Hulk captured him, when Hulk took Betty away because she was clearly in danger, you could tell that at that point Ross seemed to care more about the Hulk than his own daughter. And it really shows how far he has fallen. That his own daughter doesn't want to speak to him, and that he doesn't even seem to care about his daughter as much as he should. So I really do like that. I guess, Sox, anything else you want to say? I'll take that as a no. Sam Elliott, was he another? Okay, when Sox gets back, he'll need to clarify that one for me, because is Sam Elliott another? And I can't even talk right now. Is Sam Elliott another actor who's played Ross, General Ross? Because I know Ross has been in other interpretations, such as that series, that Incredible Hulk series that I saw way back in the day. But yeah. And let me just check on. Hopefully, we'll get Sox back soon. And Angeli's Hulk. I don't know all these actors' names. I'm not Sox, so is it that animated series? What up, Curly Ray? Thanks for stopping by. We're just waiting for Sox Bulletins to get back to talk more about Thaddeus Ross. But while we wait for him, we'll move on and we'll go back to Thaddeus Ross when Sox gets back. So now let's talk about Samuel Stearns, Mr. Blue. I'm gonna be honest. When I saw this, they were first messaging Mr. Blue. Now, I saw this movie for the second time yesterday. Oh, perfect. Socks is, let's see. What up, Socks? Can you hear me again? Or hear me now? We were just talking about how Batman's better than the Incredible Hulk and Batman
Sorry,
could
back again.
So, anyways, anything else you want to say about Thaddeus Ross before we move on?
No, we can move on.
Okay. So now we're going to go on to Samuel Stern's Mr. Blue. Now, I'm going to be honest. When he was first messaging Mr. Blue, now, I was saying before, I saw this movie a while ago, so I didn't remember Mr. Blue. I thought Mr. Blue was going to be Tony Stark. I thought that he was messaging Tony Stark, and then Tony Stark was going to basically tell Ross to back off at the end. But no, he's actually the leader, is what I found very interesting. And I really like this character too, because at first you just think he's a good Samaritan, just trying to help somebody. But then you find out he's doing this for research. He's trying to...
The actor that plays Samuel Stearns is going to be...
Oh, go on.
The actor that's going to play Samuel Stearns, that's in the Hulk movie, he's going to be the main one. I think the main villain in Captain America 4.
Is this even a Captain America movie or a Hulk movie at this point? That's interesting. It's amazing all the continuity they're showing from that Hulk movie, despite the fact that the lead has been recast. So, I mean, I know Betty's going to be in the movie. I mean, William Hurt is not in the movie, because rest in peace, he passed away, but he was Thaddeus Ross in the previous movie still. And now Samuel Stern, so damn. But I guess, Sachs, what's your thoughts on Mr. Blue, Samuel Stearns, the leader in this movie?
I'm finally glad to see we're going to get a payoff from the Incredible Hulk film, because it left on on that question mark, from the first from that movie from so many years ago. I was wanting to see the leader because in the comics he's like a good villain for the Hulk, and now we finally get to see the return of the leader after all this time, and it's been a long time coming. So yeah, finally.
Yeah, I'm glad, because it felt like to me it was just kind of like rushed how he just all of a sudden got infected. It just kind of happened out of nowhere, and then nothing happened for it. And I'm like, wait, this is the second movie in the MCU, and we haven't seen anything from it. So yeah, I agree. Finally. I mean, probably because they thought they were going to do more Hulk movies, and then they couldn't, because this was before Disney owned Marvel. So I think it was easier to do it with Universal. Go on.
Well, I have a question. Maybe Sin Habit. I have a question for Sin Habit. Maybe he can answer this. And Sin Habit seems to be Mr. Behind the scenes, and I cherish Sin Habit for that. Sin Habit, what have you heard about the new Captain America 4 film? Is it going to be a good film, or what is your opinion from what you may have heard about it?
Oh, the raft. So, okay. So I'll pull Sin Habit's comment up when he responds to that. But I guess any other thoughts you want to say about Samuel Stern in this movie?
I'm going to refresh one more time. I'll be right back.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so while we wait for that to happen, let's move on to Leonard Sampson, Phil Dunphy, Betty's boyfriend. So not too much to say about this person. He obviously wasn't in the movie that much, but I did like his one scene in the movie. So when Thaddeus Ross is interrogating him, I liked how they did it. So yes, he tells Thaddeus Ross where Betty is because he doesn't know too much about her father, so he doesn't know that he's a scumbag, but he knows that he's Betty's father, so of course he's gonna trust him. And then after finding out, he admitted his mistake. He's like, shit, I should not have trusted this guy. I'm not gonna help him anymore. And despite the fact that another man is with his girlfriend, he still cares enough about her to look after her, to not put her in more danger, to do what's best for her. And okay, Qatar, we'll bring that back up when Sox is back. So and I wonder, hey, now that Betty broke up with him, maybe he'll go back with Claire. Maybe Phil, now that since it didn't work out with Betty, maybe Phil Dunphy can go back to Claire. Or maybe he'll become a scumbag and survive in the zombie apocalypse. One of the two. One of the two. But, oh, interesting. And thank you, Sin Havoc. So, it doesn't sound horrible. Huh. Interesting. So, what up, Integrity? Zeus Jail 2 is inevitable. Yep, I read about that. So, that was actually a big reason why I decided to put this movie in the list for our Brave New World hype. So that's exactly why I put it on there. What up, Integrity? Or, no, Bishop, you're saying hi to Integrity. Sorry. We got, let's see, who we got else? We got Integrity 101. Actually, while we wait, let's do another One Punch Dan view. So
So, you're the one they call Necron?
Wow, you sure are perceptive. What gave my identity away?
This conversation is over, Issa. Stop this evil now.
Don't make me hasten your death.
God has given me the power to defeat you.
damn, I love that trailer. I love that trailer. Again, great work, Zodwriter. Great work, Zodwriter. So, yes, guys, we're just kind of waiting for Sox to return, Sox to come back. Sox has that KFC Wi-Fi, so... Okay, we'll do that. So, hold on that one. Oh, here you are. Ah. Okay. Share screen.
I'm leading a battle. Izage and her ruthless cyborgs want humanity decimated. Her plan is to terraform Earth, leaving only artificial intelligence to conquer our world. I'm not letting that happen, and it's going to take more than just me to stop her. I will enlist the help of the greatest superheroes alive. This war ends now.
Are you here to help, or are you just another one of Isage's spies?
Darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. Because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping. And a vision
Help is on the way, son.
that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone. Beneath the halo of their street
I'm so in love with you, Danny.
I turned my car to the cold of death when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split
I don't hear an echo anymore.
and touched the sound of silence.
Fight time.
And in the naked light I saw
So you are the legendary Isekai.
1,000 people maybe
Fascinating.
more. People talking without speaking.
Come on, cyborg bitches. Is that all you got for me?
Come on, bitch boy, bring it on. Fight me.
It's over for you, Necron.
No one there. Disturb the sound of silence.
All right, we got Socks. Are you back now? Can you hear me? So anyway, now that Socks is back, we're going to go back to Thaddeus Ross, and I want to pull, or no, sorry, we did Thaddeus Ross. We're going to go back to this guy right here, Samuel Stern. And to answer your question, Socks, or oh man, I'm not having luck with Socks today. Sorry about that, people. So I'm gonna play the trailer one more time.
I'm leading a battle. Isekai and her ruthless cyborgs want humanity decimated. Her plan is to terraform Earth, leaving only artificial intelligence to conquer our world. I'm not letting that happen, and it's going to take more than just me to stop her. I will enlist the help of the greatest superheroes alive. This war ends now.
Are you here to help, or are you just another one of Isagay's
Hello,
spies?
darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. Because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping. And a vision
Help is on the way, son.
that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, beneath the halo of their street.
I'm so in love with you, Danny.
I turned my car to the cold of death when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence.
Fight time.
And in the naked light I saw
So you are the legendary Isekai.
1,000 people maybe
Fascinating.
more. People talking without speaking.
Come on, cyborg bitches. Is that all you got for me?
Come on, bitch boy, bring it on. Fight me.
It's over for you, Necron.
No one there. Disturb the sound of silence.
All right, Socks, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here now.
Okay, so now we're going to go back to Samuel Stern, and where is that? I want to find that comment from Sin Havoc again. You asked about Captain America: Brave New World. Okay, so this is what Sin Havoc is saying. So It's good news. We're hearing good news.
Okay.
So, and now I
All
want to pull
right.
up before we move on from Samuel Stern. I want to hear where's Qatar's comment? Qatar had a comment that I want to pull up too. Okay. So Qatar thinks that this was a miscast. What's your thoughts on that, Socks?
For Dot Sampson?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, because Dot Sampson is really buffed. He's really a muscular dude, man. I mean, he has long green hair, which is his strength. So they really focus on that old mythology of Samson having, his strength is in his hair, and it's long and it's green, and he is a psychiatrist in the comics. That part is true, but they should have worked with that, later on down the line. Again, they never did nothing with his character. Just like it took for years to get to where we are for Mr. Blue, Samuel Stearns, the leader. So hopefully one day we'll finally see a buff version of Doc Samson, because the one we got in the comics, they got half of his character right by being a therapist, but there's a lot more to his character than just being a therapist.
And that's a fair point, because you don't want to just identify a character, oh, they're a therapist. Like, no, you want to know more about the character. So, yeah, I totally get that. I totally, completely get that. Again, I'm not as familiar with the character, so I can't really judge. But anyways, I said my piece on this guy. Socks, any thoughts you have?
Nah, I mean, no, we can move on from it,
Okay. Sounds good. So, this guy, I'm going to say, Socks, this guy thought he could take on the Hulk, but there's one problem with this guy. This guy is not Batman. Batman can take on the Hulk, as you can see in comic book form. Batman can take on the Hulk. Abomination trying to? Not a good idea. What do you say to that, Socks?
I say this. You're right. He took on a version of the Hulk, but there's many different personas of the Hulk. Let's see him do that against Worldbreaker. Let's see him do that against Immortal Hulk. Let's see him do that against Invincible Hulk. And Demon Hulk. Let's see him do that.
He could. Batman can take all those guys combined, because he's Batman.
Yeah, okay. Worldbreaker Hulk, single-hand... I'm going to get into a rant. I'm going to shut up.
Okay. It's so funny, Socks. When I rewatched this movie, I was like, oh shit, She-Hulk used the same actor from the movie. Which, I'm going to be honest, after watching this movie with Emil Blonsky, I hate She-Hulk even more now. Like, seeing how this was portrayed in a serious movie and then being a goofball in She-Hulk, I was like, wow, She-Hulk really ruined this character. But I guess, what's your thoughts on this guy in this movie, Socks?
He was scary as hell in this movie, man. I mean, he's terrifying. We already know he's relentless, but once he gets part of the super soldier serum and then he mixes with the Hulk stuff and becomes the Abomination, he's downright terrifying, man. Abomination ain't no joke. I mean, yeah. So he's a terrifying character.
And what I like about this character is, even as Emil Blonsky, he was terrifying to me. Is seeing this guy, just the ambition of this guy. He seemed like someone you just didn't want to mess with. And how ambitious he was as a soldier. Is that he had something kind of similar to... He felt in a way, he was kind of like Thaddeus Ross' personality on steroids. Is that he wanted to win. He wanted to win. He wanted to beat this guy no matter what it cost him, to the point that he himself got infected. And as Abomination, now, I found this interesting. He was the exact same person mentally as Abomination. I didn't realize that Abomination was the same. Now, like Bruce Banner and Hulk are completely different people. I didn't realize that Abomination and Emil Blonsky were basically the same person. Is that how it's supposed to be in the comics?
Yes, that's exactly how it is in the comics. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. See, and this is why I have Socks on here to discuss this stuff. But yeah, I really loved the actor in this movie, and it really, really makes me hate the She-Hulk even more. So, yeah, screw. But I'm sorry, this isn't going to be a She-Hulk rant. And I know, Josh Herrera, when you're watching this on replay, because I don't see in the chat right now, I know you love that show. So, if we do a review on that, then, we'll try to get you on. We'll try to get you on for that one, Josh. But yeah, we'll talk about that. Don't you worry, Guitar. We're getting into that. But I guess, Socks, anything else you want to say about this character?
No, we can move on from this.
Okay. Betty Ross. I'll let you start with this one, Socks.
I actually liked her version of Betty Ross done by Liv Tyler in this movie than I did in the later films, because to me, this one just seems, I don't know, more. She seemed like she really played that part better than, say, the one I saw in the Ang Lee Hulk movie, which don't watch that movie. That is a bad Hulk movie. I know Eric Bana's Hulk, that was not a good movie. But this one, she did a good job as Betty Ross. I really liked her as Betty. She held her ground.
So it's the same actress in that other movie too, you're saying?
No. The other actress in that other film is Jennifer Connelly. She plays Betty Ross in that movie, and that's not a good movie. I did not like that movie at all.
And I haven't seen that movie, so I can't judge that one. But this one, I like this character. I felt a little bad that she kind of left her boyfriend to be with Bruce. But to be fair, I'm sure they might have not been together that long, but just not getting that explanation. But I still love how dedicated she was to Bruce. Is that she wants to help him. She's willing to do everything to save the man that she loves, even standing up to her own father, because it's not always easy to stand up to your family. And Betty was real brave in this movie. So I really like this character. And thank you, Integrity. I really appreciate it. So overall, I thought Betty was a great character in this movie, and Socks, was it the same actress in What If for Betty Ross? Did she voice her in What If? Do you know?
I'll have to go back. I'll have to double check on that. That I can't confirm. It probably is, but I don't know for a fact. So I don't want to sit here and say yes, it is, and I'm not exactly sure.
I have to say something. Seeing Betty Ross in this movie with Bruce Banner, it made me more irritated with the Bruce Banner-Black Widow relationship in Age of Ultron. I did not like that relationship, and seeing this movie makes me dislike that relationship even more.
Well, what kind of upset me about this movie is that poor Bruce Banner couldn't even get it on with Betty Ross, man, because if he tried to get it on, he'll rip that poor just in a certain explicit way to her, especially in that motel room. What was about to go down? Yeah, no good.
Yeah, and when I saw that, I was like, oh shit, it's not just anger that turns him into the Hulk. It's like any kind of heart rate acceleration. So he can't get excited. I'm like, damn, it's one thing to be told, yeah, don't get angry, but damn, that's just sad. So I really felt bad for Bruce Banner in that. So
yeah, no loving for you, Brucey. No loving for you.
And speaking of, anything else you want to say before we move on?
No, we can move on now.
And speaking of Bruce Banner. So now here's the big debate. Edward Norton v. Mark Ruffalo. What's your thoughts on Bruce Banner in this movie, and who do you like better?
I'm going to jump right into it. Edward Norton. I will take Edward Norton over Mark Ruffalo any day of the week, because to me, he nailed the nerdiness of Bruce Banner. He is Bruce Banner through and through. I love his portrayal of the Hulk. I have issues with Ruffalo that bother the hell out of me. I've accepted him, but it's nowhere near the level of what Norton did for that character, man. Because I really like seeing his version of Bruce Banner. He comes across to me as a more of a real scientific nerd, where Ruffalo comes across to me as a politician.
Oh, kind of like real life.
Yeah, and it's just not genuine like Norton does. Norton, I could believe him being a real scientist, a real nerd, a real guy trying to get away from what he created. Where Ruffalo is like, can I sell you a brand new Cadillac or whatever? And I get that weird feeling like he's a politician / used car salesman, and it makes my skin crawl sometimes, man.
Yeah, I get that completely. And, I've always hated recasting because it messes with continuity. And I'll say this. I sometimes come up with an explanation in my head that the character got plastic surgery at some point, and that's why they look different. But, Socks, maybe you can answer this for me. Is there any possible way that Bruce Banner could receive plastic surgery?
I don't think so, buddy. No. Would you want to take that job?
Let's just say there was a brave enough scientist to do it. Would it be possible?
The only one I could probably think of that might be able to pull something off like that, if not Reed Richards, maybe Victor Von Doom. Maybe. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's 100% possible, because imagine doing that and all of a sudden a pissed off Hulk wakes up. Yeah, problem.
Yeah, see, that's why I'm saying, that's why it doesn't really quite work for Bruce Banner. But yeah, I like Edward Norton so much better because my issue with Mark Ruffalo, he made Hulk a goofball. Not so much in Avengers. I think Mark Ruffalo's best performance as Bruce Banner is the first Avengers movie, but I don't know. Even that though is nothing compared to Edward Norton. Edward Norton felt the stakes were high. He felt like he was a genius. And I love the way, and just a small little detail, when he's working in that factory, I like that he doesn't work for a dick-ass boss, that he works for a boss that respects his talent to the point that he actually asks to put him on payroll. That shows what a good job Bruce Banner does, how smart he is at a simple, mundane task. And, okay, Socks, do you agree with this comment? Do you think Hank Pym could pull that off?
Highly intelligent. Yeah, he's up there in the genius levels of the scientists of the Marvel Comics. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him, but again, you screw this up, you can have a pissed off Hulk under your ass, and I don't know if that's worth it, buddy.
Yeah, I get that completely. Don't want to piss off Hulk. But anyway, that's just why. That's just why I wanted to kind of ask that. But I love Edward Norton in this movie. He does such a great job portraying Bruce Banner. And one thing I like that he doesn't do the overprotective boyfriend cliche where the boyfriend's like, oh, I can't put you in danger, even though the supervillain's going to come after you no matter what I do anyways. No, he actually lets Betty Ross help him because he's like, Betty Ross is a grown-ass adult. She can make her own choice, and Bruce Banner respects that. I really appreciate that from him. It's a really nice change of pace. So, yeah, I really like him. I love his intelligence. I love the way that you see him do different therapy, or not therapy, but that meditation thing, and just seeing. The one thing I love with him is seeing that one sensei person slap him over and over again just so he doesn't get angry. I really love that. It showed such great inner strength for Bruce Banner himself. And Qatar thinks that Psycho Hank Pym could do it. But I guess, Socks, any other thoughts with that?
No, I mean, I would like to talk. I would say, well, I guess I could say it for this part. The scene in the campus at the college university where Bruce Banner becomes Hulk, and you see him bust through the fucking the wall, and you see the rage. That's some scary imagery right there. I mean, my God, that Hulk, what he did to that, into the middle of all those soldiers. That was terrifying, man. When I saw that scene, I was like, whoa, this is the Hulk, man. This ain't nobody you mess with.
Yeah, I completely agree, and it showed the good acting of Edward Norton to get there, and it's just he's such a great character, and I love this character, but he was such a he's smart, he's clever, he's the way he's efficient with telling Betty Ross, okay, let's just walk, but walk very slowly so we're not noticed, and take a boat. You can see why this guy survived for so long. Like, I believe this is a Bruce Banner who survived as long as he did. When you see that countdown from the days, I believe that this Bruce Banner could do that. I could not believe Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner could do that, but Edward Norton, absolutely. And you know what, Sin Havoc? What I want to hear your thoughts on this about them not moving forward with Edward Norton in future movies. And I guess, Sox, what do you have to say about that as well?
From what I understood, I found out a long time ago. Thank you for bringing that up because I was going to mention that. Is because Edward Norton in High was a very difficult actor to work with. A lot of people have actually come out and said he's a very difficult actor to work with. And the reason why he keeps getting work in Hollywood because he's a really good, solid actor, but he's a very difficult person to work with. And he wrote some stuff for the script for the Hulk movie that was supposed to be in it, and I guess they took it out of it. They had some issues with him behind the scenes. And that's why they recast him, because they didn't want to have to go through the same drama with this guy. He's a great actor, but very, very difficult to work with.
Okay. So this is what Sin Havoc is saying. Mark Ruffalo is better for the MCU. Ed Norton was better for Bruce Banner overall.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like for the MCU's current tone, I feel like Edward Norton would have worked in the first Avengers movie. Sure. Maybe not so much in some of the later ones, but
think about it this way. Think about it this way, though, Bad Dan. Edward Norton must be a real dumbass in a lot of ways because he cost himself so much money by not playing ball. I mean, if he would have went along with Feige's vision, he'd have been ranking in so much money with the MCU. And that's on him. And I'm sorry. You might be a solid actor, a great actor, but you're a bit of a dumbass in a lot of ways for doing that.
That's a fair point, Sox. That's a really fair point. And yep, got banned. There's the MCU book, really. Sox, did you know this?
I have not read this book. I know I've heard Sin Havoc talk about it. One day I'll probably have to try to find it. I would like to check it out just to be out of curiosity, be curious about it. But I got a question sometimes, these books, man, because I wonder if they come from real legitimate truth or maybe a biased truth. So I'm always kind of a little nervous about certain things like this. I'm not discrediting what Sin Havoc is saying. I'm just kind of curious about certain things like that. I'm a little cautious about stuff like that. But I still want to read it though.
Okay. Yep, that's a fair point, Sox. That's a really fair point. And one thing I want to say before we move on. I love that scene after they get out of the cab. You see Betty Ross all angry and upset. Like, basically, if she were the Hulk, she would turn into the Hulk. Or if she had the gamma radiation, she would turn into the Hulk. And then Bruce Banner is just all calm and collective. And I found that really hilarious. Sox, what are your thoughts on that scene?
That's what I'm talking about. That's Banner. That's Banner through and through, man. That's how Banner is in the comics. He is not a violent dude, man. Banner is a nerd. He's the type of guy that wants to be unconfrontational. It's Hulk that's totally different. The Hulk is an extension of his personality. So him telling Betty that, makes perfect sense because that's exactly how he is in the comics.
Okay. Damn. That's a great point. And I'm sorry, I got a little distracted with Sin Havoc's comments. So how would that work exactly? Because Mark Ruffalo and Edward Norton are essentially the same character. they may not look or
What
act
I'm
like the
under-
same character.
From what
go
I'm
on.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. From what I'm understanding, and maybe Sinheavy can correct me on this. I don't know if it's Doomsday or Secret Wars, one of the two. They're gonna have so many different variants of different characters pop up. I don't know. If they were managed somehow to get Norton back as a variant, I would love it. I absolutely would love it. That'd be great. But I hope Norton, for his sake, gets past his stupid ego. Because he has a massive ego. He really does. Great actor. Love his acting. But that dude has got problems.
Yeah, and that's a fair point. And, you know, as being part of the Snyder fandom, we say accountability over entertainment. So, yeah, again, I like Ruffalo the best in Avengers, but after Avengers, he sucks. Honestly, I don't like him. And also maybe because I don't like Mark Ruffalo as a person. He gets way too political. Regardless of whether I agree with his stances or not, that's a separate conversation, but that's just very obnoxious. So, but yep, so Sin Havoc says he'll be a variant, so that'll be interesting to see how that works. You know, I'm curious, are they going to say that basically the Hulk movie takes place in an alternate timeline where everything happened exactly the same way in the MCU, except that he was Mark Ruffalo?
You know, that is weird because, okay, now that you got me thinking about that, okay, say Secret Wars comes out, we're going to get Ed Norton back as Hulk, hypothetically speaking, of course, right? Liv Tyler comes back as Betty Ross for Cat Ford. Obviously, she'll probably be in Secret Wars at some point. Then you got the guy that's playing the leader. He comes back for Cat Ford. I'm sure he'll probably be in Secret Wars. Then you got Ruffalo coming in as Hulk. And then you can have... And his Hulk is supposed to be connected to Betty Ross and the leader and Thaddeus Ross. And that's supposed to be connected to the Incredible Hulk movie. But then you're going to bring in Edward Norton. And it's like, oh, boy.
That's going to take a lot to explain. In fact, I heard there was some rumor that She-Hulk was going to address that recast at some point, but that was scrapped. Again, that was a rumor I heard, so don't run with that. But yeah, so okay, so Liv Tyler, Betty Ross is MCU 616.
Right. Okay.
The main. Okay. Thank you, Sin Havoc. So now, anything you want to say about Bruce Banner before we move on?
No, we can move on from this one.
Incredible Hulk, the Hulk himself. And I'm sorry, Sox, I have a rant that I need to start with. If Hulk is so impervious to everything, how the fuck did he bump his head and it hurt?
What are you talking about? What scene?
When he took Betty Ross to that one cliff, or there was that little cave, he bumped his head and it clearly hurt him.
Did it hurt him, or did it? I just he's already frustrated and pissed off already. So did I just add to it more?
Red She-Hulk? What the? We'll put a pin in that, Sin Havoc. We'll put a pin in that because I got to finish this first.
I know.
I was under the impression that it hurt him. That was my understanding. That it seemed like it actually hurt him.
Okay.
So
well, I had to add something to that. I just thought it didn't so much hurt him, more like he was already frustrated, pissed off as it is. Which you bring up an interesting point, because before that, after the whole chopper crash, Hulk protects Betty, picks her up and takes off. Do you remember the scene where it's raining?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember?
Oh, you mean? Yeah, go on. Sorry.
You remember the scene when it's raining and Hulk takes Betty to that cave and it's still raining, it's pouring rain and all that. You remember all that?
Yeah, that's the scene I'm talking about.
Right. I don't know if this is true. I don't know if this is confirmed anywhere. I think it's a rumor, but I'm going to say it anyway just to get it out there. That is supposed to be Thor causing that rain to calm down the situation that Hulk got himself into. If you believe that. I don't know.
I mean, Thor wasn't introduced yet, but because I will admit that was kind of very conspicuous how that rain came right
Right.
That was the most convenient plot device ever.
Right, and people are saying, look at like even Sin Hammer even said the same thing. It is Thor. That's what I've been thinking that too. So it is true. Okay, because they were supposed to introduce Thor in that one scene.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I heard, but I was never really 100% sure about that. But thank you, Sin. So that takes place right during the first Thor movie, then when Thor was cast out of Asgard by Odin, then, right? Okay.
But how does that work? Well, I guess that makes sense with the Tony Stark cameo, but I'm just saying, Socks, you're telling me that this Hulk could beat Batman, but apparently all Batman needs to do to beat Hulk is he just needs that cliff, just needs rocks to hurt Hulk. That's all he needs. He just needs those rocks to hurt the Hulk. That's all he needs to do.
Again, that was written.
That was confirmed in this movie, Socks. In this movie, not another writer. This movie, Batman could just get some rocks, hurt Hulk and Batman would win. That's what I'm basically seeing from this.
Moving on.
Okay. So, other than that little rant I have, what's your thoughts on the Hulk in this movie?
I loved it, man. I mean, and another thing I love about this version of the Hulk, he doesn't talk. You rarely hear him say a word. There's a few times you hear him speak once in a while, like in the plant when he finally turns into Hulk. You hear him say, "Leave me alone." That was Hulk. You had to listen carefully, but that was Hulk. But when he said Betty or he said Hulk smash, the only thing Hulk didn't really talk that much, you know. But when he does talk, you better run for your life, buddy.
Yeah, and that's what I felt like with this movie is, I mean, did that not hurt the Hulks and Havoc? I mean, if you have a counter argument, I'm all mean. I'm all game. I'm just saying that's what I saw. So, but anyways, I like that this Hulk was scarier. And see, it's not just the Bruce Banner that's the best in the MCU. In this movie, I think the Hulk too. The Hulk was the scariest in this movie. The only time the Hulk was as scary as this movie was that one scene in Avengers when he's chasing Black Widow on the helicarrier. But other than that, Hulk was never as scary as this one right here. This one was a threat. This is a Hulk that you don't want to mess with. You know, this isn't Ragnarok Hulk where that guy's a joke. Or
Like, what's in it? Just broke.
Okay, but Sin Havoc, to be fair, the only reason Bane beat Batman is because the one villain who has the capability to beat Batman, the Joker, wore him out, and Bane came in afterwards. And also, Bane
first of
smart.
all, Deathstroke beat Batman twice in one issue.
Okay, now we're getting off topic into DC. Too far into DC. This is only, I mean, I'm just talking about this right here. Anyways, I'm sorry, we're getting off topic. But overall, I felt like the Hulk is scary. Like that scene where, God, I'm so bad at names, but Emil and those men come after the Hulk, and the way that Hulk just kind of slowly charges after them, or when that one douchebag was beating Bruce Banner with those other men. Again, those scenes, Hulk was a force to be reckoned with. But I like at the same time, the Hulk was the one person he's not scary to is Betty Ross. I think they captured that really well. When it comes to Betty Ross, that is the only time he has any emotion, any humanity, any care for someone else. And I think that was really important. And the movie nails that so perfectly, in my opinion.
Qatar, you're reading my brain, but that will start a war between me and my co-host. We've already had this argument a few times, me and Batman. I agree with you, Qatar, but my co-host disagrees, and that's going to cause a war between us.
Qatar, the only comic where they fought was DC versus Marvel, and Batman won. Moving on.
Bullshit!
Anyway, so we're going to be moving on right now to talk about the Incredible Hulk. I'm going to unmute my co-host right now, and we're strictly going to talk about the Incredible Hulk's portrayal in this movie. So I'm going to unmute him now in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, Socks.
You muted me. You muted me, sir.
Yeah, that I did. So anyways, the Incredible Hulk in this movie. What are your thoughts?
I love this movie, man. I really did. I really enjoyed this whole movie a lot. You mutant motherfucker. You son of a bitch.
anyways, just any other specific scenes or any other actions you want to call out of the Hulk in this movie?
I did like the final fight scene between Hulk and Abomination, and that was a good fight for what it was, and I have no issue with it whatsoever. I actually enjoyed that fight between him and Abomination a lot.
Yeah, I like that fight too. I thought that was a very good fight. The way it was set up is that they actually convinced Ross to get Hulk to help them because they knew that the Abomination was a threat. Let's be honest, that Thaddeus helped create. Thaddeus helped create that threat. He did that.
Yeah.
It was his responsibility to help fix, and he was at least willing to do his duty for once, do his actual duty, and help the people, even releasing the Hulk to fight him. And that was a great fight. I feel like it was a great fight between two monsters clashing towards each other, and the way that Hulk just beats him at the end, breaks. I love that so much. That was such a strong fight, in my opinion. I agree. And
yeah.
Can you explain this one, Socks?
It's probably during the time where I believe where Ross is talking to Emil about giving him the super soldier serum, and if that's what, or is it? Oh, is it the beginning of the film? Use the sound effects to stop Hulk. Is that what you mean? There's Sin Havoc, that one?
Those free.
Okay. All right. I was right there. All right. Thank you. Yeah.
That's actually
there's a lot of stuff
point.
in there, Easter eggs. That's cool.
So basically, if Batman had a device that could mimic Black Canary's powers, he could beat Hulk based on what we saw in this movie.
Here we go. Here we go again with this Batman crap. Again with this Batman stuff. Mr. Prep Time over here.
And also too in Shang-Chi gets Abomination to hit himself. So though hitting himself works too. So Batman just needs to get Hulk to hit himself. So anyway, I'm sorry. I'm done. And anything else you want to say about this fight, Socks, before we...
I'm just glad it wasn't a Batman musical, but let's move on, all right?
Oh, interesting. Okay. But now, the ending of this movie. We'll start with you, Socks. What are your thoughts on the overall ending of this movie? Wait, what? They couldn't do that. They didn't have the rights for that. Person. Anyway, while we wait, Socks, what's your thoughts on the ending of this movie?
It was the way they ended it. It was a perfect setup for the sequel. Unfortunately, we never got the sequel thanks to Universal Studios on that one, and which is weird because Marvel, the way film rights were explained to me about what our late great friend Mikey, Marvel could do a Hulk movie, they just can't distribute it because Universal owns the distributing rights to that. And I swear to God, rights are just confusing as fuck. But Mikey had explained all this to me. And yeah, I thought it was a perfect way to set up for the sequel. Again, we didn't get that sequel, which I was aggravated by that all along, I should say. But I liked how it was done right. And also, if you think about it, when Bruce sends that package to Betty, he doesn't write the name on his name on it. He writes David Banner. That was a callback, an Easter egg to the original Hulk TV series where Bill Bixby's character was actually called David Banner instead of Bruce Banner because CBS back in the 1970s didn't think the name Bruce Banner was a good name for the character, so they changed the name Bruce to David because I'm saying what was said. They felt CBS producers said the name Bruce sounded too homosexual. That's an actual thing that they said to Stan Lee back in the 1970s. Ain't that some shit?
Oh, really, Sin Havoc? That's interesting. That is, well, hopefully that happens then. And then who knows? Maybe they could do with the multiverse. Maybe they could do a sequel with the variants. Wait, what do you mean Viacom? Universal owned. What is Viacom? Viacom and Universal are different companies. But anyway, my thoughts on this ending. I love the scene with Tony Stark and Ross. It was a great way to connect it to the MCU, because I feel like in the early phases of the MCU, it was a lot more important to establish that continuity, to establish that, hey, this movie takes place in a larger universe. I don't think all the new movies need to do that because we get it by now. It's a large universe. But it was and I feel like that was really good that they did that. And it's funny because that's the only thing that really makes it feel like part of the MCU, because until Phase 3, you don't really see. Oh, yeah, you're right, Sock. You're right. That's why you're saying that. Right. Yeah, Viacom is. Thanks for pointing that out, which is part of Paramount. Yes. But at the time, because at the time because like CBS and Viacom were together at one point, then they split apart, then they remerged, and then they became Paramount Global, and then. That's why we call it Paramount for short. So interesting. Okay. So, man, the stuff you learn from Sin Havoc here. He's a real knowledge bomb. I'll say that. But yeah, I did like that scene, and I like that Bruce Banner gave Betty the necklace back. He managed to get that back. I thought that was really important, but. Overall, I did like the ending. I do agree with Sox. We need to see a sequel to that movie, and I hope if they do bring Edward Norton back as a variant, I hope they find some way to make him the Hulk for the sequel, like have it take place in some alternate universe with that movie in continuity. I don't know how that would work, but I just like him a lot better than Mark Ruffalo. I really like Edward Norton a lot better than Mark Ruffalo. Edward Norton, get over your ego. You're recast, so if they do find a way to put you in the sequel, watch it. That's what I'm saying. Don't think you're more than you are. So, anyway, while we wait for Socks, let's do another watch of we'll do the 30-second one. Let me just make sure he's not back yet. So we'll do the 30-second one just for, or maybe we'll, We'll do this. We'll do this one. Hulk? Oh my God, Sin Havoc. We'll pull that one back up for Socks when he's back.
Do-gooders will often tell you that fighting is a last resort. I got a news flash for the freaking masses. Fighting is an essential way to solve many problems. One Punch Dan has been pissing me off for weeks, and I won't take it anymore. He's about to find out what happens to those who mess with the Dark Lord Necron.
I'm gonna kick somebody's ass. Oh, Lord, I'm gonna kick somebody's ass. If you wanna know what's cooking, here comes a good ass whooping. Oh, Lord, I'm gonna kick somebody's ass. You test me to no end. I'm not telling you again.
And we got Socks back. So, Socks, we're going to wrap this up very soon, but I just wanted to pull up Sin Havoc's comment real quick. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I had to stop something from playing. Anyway, let's go to Sin Havoc's comments. So, this is what Sin Havoc's saying, Socks. Look at this.
All right, let's try this again.
Okay, so Socks, look at Sin Havoc's comment right here.
I've been hearing something, you know. Mikey talked about that a while back, you know.
We know Sin Havoc, we know, but so yeah, that would be really cool. And other thoughts on this movie? I'm just gonna say I found it amazing that no one noticed that blood in the bottle. That no one noticed that. But hey, who knows how those factories are? But I guess Socks, any other thoughts on this movie before you wrap up? Oh, really?
Oh yeah? Good. I hope so. I had to see it.
Okay. Yeah. So if you don't have any other thoughts, Socks, let's move on to wrap up rating. Socks, what are your final thoughts and what would you rate this movie as?
Rating, I would give I'm gonna have to say I gotta give it a full 10, man. I'm surprised. I want to show everybody before we leave the show tonight, but I'll give it a 10. I would definitely give it a full 10.
That's fair. I mean, I think it's a really good movie. I would give it I'll give it 9.59234685923 out of 10. Overall, it's a great movie. This is what the Hulk should have been. But sad that we didn't get that Hulk. But anyways, overall though, this was a great movie, and I'm really glad we started the Captain America Brave New Worlds setup series for review series with this movie. And coming up, Socks, Bulletins and I, our next movie on the docket will be Captain America, the First Avenger. So be on the lookout for that. And Socks, do you have anything else coming up on your channel? Oh, really, Sin Havoc? Really? And I guess for me, while we wait for Socks, coming up on my channel, nothing really planned right now other than Marvelous discussions. I will try to get some more streams out. I will, a lot of stuff happening with Cell and, huh? Explain that one, Bishop. Explain that one a little bit more. But I will getting some streams out try to get some streams out to promote Cell a lot more, promote One Punch Stand. So be on the lookout for that. And I guess since Socks isn't on here to say it right now, I'll say it for him. I do know they said this publicly last night, so I'll say this now. Lethal Geeks will be having Socks Bulletins on at some point, not confirmed, no confirmed date, but at some point the Lethal Geeks will be having Socks Bulletins. So, guys, if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell for more unique takes, interesting thoughts, and great banter such as this. And on that note, since Socks is not here, I'll say it for him. Ta-ta for now. And for me, have a marvelous day.
I'm leading a battle. Isekai and her ruthless cyborgs want humanity decimated. Her plan is to terraform Earth, leaving only artificial intelligence to conquer our world. I'm not letting that happen, and it's going to take more than just me to stop her. I will enlist the help of the greatest superheroes alive. This war ends now.
Are you here to help, or are you just another one of Isagay's
Hello,
spies?
darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. Because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping. And the vision
Help is on the way, son.
that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, beneath the halo of their street.
I'm so in love with you, Danny.
I turned my car to the cold and dead, when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence.
Fight time.
And in the naked light I saw
So you are the legendary Isekai.
1,000 people, maybe
Fascinating.
more. People talking without speaking.
Come on, cyborg bitches. Is that all you got for me?
Listening, people
Come on, bitch boy, bring it on. Fight me.
It's over for you, Necron.
No one can disturb the sound of silence.
Any final words, Socks?
Yeah. Are we still
Hey,
live?
sorry. Yep. Just say your final words.
Okay. I'm gonna, before I do that, before Disney bought out Marvel was making their own films, and it was being distributed to Paramount. This is the first Iron Man movie, the first Hulk movie, I think Thor, and maybe Captain America. Definitely Iron Man 1 and for sure Hulk. The packaging for both Iron Man and Hulk for the DVDs was a lot different compared to what they are now. In fact, I got both of them. Here is what the Hulk packaging for the DVD looked like. This is a DVD. Okay? The DVDs and back here. But this is what the packaging for the Hulk DVD looked like. Okay? I got one for Iron Man also, but I saw this and I had to get it years ago. So this is an actual packaging for the DVD. And like I said, the movies go back here. You close that up, right? You open that up like that. Get it? Now, normally I don't buy these type of special type of packagings, but this I thought was just beautiful, man. Look at this.
Yeah. That is cool. And thank you, Socks. Thank you, Socks, for showing that. Just wanted to get you on real quick to give your final words and just say your final goodbye catchphrase.
Ta-ta for now.
Have a marvelous day.